This Aspen is in terrible condition. It has not been maintained for years, and it really shows in the paintwork. So the goal of today's video is to show you how to restore life back into the paint, right? Gloss it up, give us some clarity, without spending that much time and energy, and without using that many tools and products. And the reason why I want to make this kind of video is just because I want to show you that if you don't have the time, if you have one polisher instead of 4, or you have 2 pads instead of 10, you can still get great results. It's just about prioritizing where you spend your time and energy, and most importantly, how you use the tools and products that you have to get the best results. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the tools and products. You can just click down below to see all that. But we're doing a rinseless wash. I'm claying it, not doing an iron remover. I'm using 1 cutting disc, 1 polishing pad for the whole side of the vehicle, and the results are amazing. So let's get started with this video. I'm gonna start off with a rinseless wash. And if your vehicle is in terrible condition like this one, right? It's in terrible condition, it can't get any worse. I'm not gonna have the mindset of trying to be super gentle with the paintwork, because any potential swirls, scratches, marring that I instill in the wash, claying, and drying process are gonna be easily corrected when we actually go to polishing it. So even if I do a rinseless, a waterless, whatever, and I add some micro swirling or some marring in there, it's gonna come out so easy once we actually polish the vehicle. So I'm not worried about being extra delicate when I'm doing the wash process here. So I have my rinseless wash here in the spray bottle. I have my rinseless wash in the bucket, and I'm going to do a rinseless wash on this whole vehicle. We're going to do a rinseless wash, and then we're gonna clay it and then dry it. We are going to mist it all down. Yes, I have a pump sprayer, but again, to keep it simple, I'm gonna use a spray bottle. Now the product that I'm using here, this is actually one of the products that we're testing for our own product line. It's a rinseless wash, but Optimum No Rinse, DIY Rinseless, Wolfgang, whatever, they're all gonna work out. And this paint is in very bad condition. Like, I can feel the roughness from the contaminants being stuck on there. Okay, and that's gonna complete the wash process. Now we're gonna clay it. And again, depending on who you watch, you might be saying to yourself, he's doing everything wrong. He should foam it down, rinse it, make sure that he's using a clean towel every single side. But I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and whatever you think you're gonna do to the paintwork, from the washing and drying, it's nothing equivalent to what's already in the paintwork. So the faster you can get to the actual correction part, that's the important part. You want to prep properly, but that doesn't mean you have to tiptoe and watch out like you're walking on eggshells until you get to that point. I'm going to lubricate the surface and begin to clay. Now the way that claying works is you're going to clay the surface until that rough texture goes away. That means you've pulled off the contaminant. So if you're working the surface and you feel a lot of grit and texture to your paintwork, the more and more you work that clay media, whether it's a clay bar or clay mitt, over the paintwork, the smoother it's going to get. So now we're going to take a towel and dry it down. And here is the true condition of the paint after washing and claying. And as you can tell, there is, well, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a light layer, a very light layer of staining on the paintwork, meaning maybe there's like water streaks that may have been left over. And as you can tell, there are a ton of swirls and scratches. All right, and we are now on the polishing step. Now, I might be positioned weird just because the camera's right here, the lighting's right here, but I have to stand to the side, so bear with me on there. So on here, we are gonna do a few things. I might cut this down to like several videos actually, but here I'm gonna do a cutting phase. So this is gonna be a two-step correction. One phase is cutting, the other is polishing. The cutting is to remove a majority of the defects, of the swirls and scratches. The polishing is just to refine the micro swirling that may have been put from the cutting phase. So when you're polishing, you're no longer removing the swirls because that's what the cutting phase is for. So we're gonna see how much I can remove. And the goal here actually is to cycle it down or work it down enough to where it looks like it's basically done. So that's the main goal here. Is not just to remove the swirls, but finish it down nicely to where you can almost just stop right there and call it a day. So let me just show you what that means. All right, and there we go. And based on the lighting that I can see, we should have removed a majority of the swirls and it finished down pretty well. Now on this large section right here, it's looking fantastic. Toward the edge here, just because there's a little bit of adhesive right here, I didn't get the pad as close to this side. So this side, you still see a bit of swirls on there. That's absolutely fine. On this vehicle, it's more than enough. But on this large section right here, it finished down fantastic. For some people, you could stop right here, apply your sealant, your protection, whatever, and you can call it a day, right? Now, a lot of people would also argue against that, saying, oh no, you're supposed to polish it, that's the right way. I get it, I know not everyone cares about that stuff, you know? So the next step here is we could do the polishing step, except with the polishing step, we're gonna do an all-in-one application. So we're gonna use Rupes Uno Protect, and it's gonna do some fine polishing while also leaving a layer of protection. That's why it's called an all-in-one. It's polishing and leaving a layer of protection. Now I'm gonna be able to work this whole section, but remember, we're no longer doing any correction on this part here. We're only refining the previous step, which is already done greatly, and adding a layer of protection. So we're not gonna do some heavy move, some down pressure with some slow arm movement, because we're more so just refining and applying, not correcting. And it's time to wipe off. Okay, so this is the condition on the driver rear door. You can tell it looks a little cloudy, a bunch of swirls and scratches. And then you come over here and things are looking extra clear and glossy. You can just tell that this one has like a different color or depth to it versus this one. That's just because this one's all polished out. Look how large of a section I'm gonna work, and it's gonna come out fantastic. Again, a large portion to why we're able to work larger sections and finish down so well is how hard or soft the clear coat is. So this one is in my favor. If this was a super hard clear coat where you had to just get a lot more aggressive with it, I wouldn't be getting these kind of results on one pass on this large of a section. On the right side where we did the all-in-one polish, there is even more clarity and depth to it, and you can tell it's a darker black than over here. It's very faint to tell. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but here it's like it's true actual black, just nice glossy finish. And then over here, there's a little bit of a gray tone to it, a little white haziness to it. So that's what we're removing with the second polishing. Again, for most people, that in itself is gonna be fantastic, no problem whatsoever. They're gonna be happy with that. But there is a very distinct difference, at least here in person and for me, of how dark that color is. Now you see all these water spots on the chrome trim here? Very easy to remove. I'm not gonna put on any more product because it's already kind of loaded with product on my pad. So I'm just gonna literally dab a little bit, put it on setting maybe 3 or 2, and just lightly work on the chrome and they're gonna come off. Take the towel and boom, just like that. There's still some spots here and there, but I mean, for the 5 seconds of work that it took just to pass over the chrome trim, it is a big difference. And something else that you can do is over here, it's all corrected and polished, but down here, I only did an all-in-one polish. So if we kind of scroll to the left here, look how cloudy it looks, look how grayish it looks because there's so many swirls and scratches. And over here, there's a bit more depth to it, there's a bit more gloss to it. Now again, I did not correct and polish up here, down there. I simply did an all-in-one with the yellow foam pad and it came out that well. And if you compare them, yeah, you can tell this one has more clarity and gloss, but they both do look shiny. And because no one's gonna be crouching down there checking the sunlight, we can correct and polish here and make it look fantastic, but down there, just by glossing it up with an all-in-one, it's looking fantastic. So that's another way to kind of increase the gloss without doing all the steps across the entire vehicle. And again, nothing complicated. I'm using the same pad that I've been using the whole vehicle. I'm using the Rupes Uno Protect. And with this one, since we are trying to just do it in one step, it would help to just slow down the arm movement a little bit. That way you just give the product to kind of work in a little more. Because unlike up here, we're just kind of applying it and refining the previous step. Here, since we do want to kind of cut in a bit more, because this does have some light polish abilities, then we want to work it in a bit more. So slower arm movement, a bit more down pressure, but we're not gonna get heavy correction as we did with the 2-step. So I'll put it on speed 2, and then just spread it around. Put it on speed 4.5. So here is the before, and then this is the after. Again, like you can still see all the swirls there, right? It's no secret, I'm not trying to hide it from you guys, but the gloss, the color is back. Look at that. And that's without doing heavy correction. It's just, we're just kind of taking off that dead skin from the paint and bringing out a bit more gloss. And it's looking fantastic. I mean, it's definitely looking better. As a whole, it is looking great. So now, the last 2 things that we would do is we have this upper section left, right? So with this one, the same thing is you can still just do an all-in-one polish right here to make it look much better. Now, a big question people always have is, well, should I use a 3-inch here because I don't have a 3-inch, or maybe you just don't want to use it. You can still get these spots with a 5-inch polisher. Now, one thing, if you are still new and still trying to do this, tape off these rubber or trim sections right here. That way the pad doesn't stain this the trim that you're working on. And that's an easy way to still fit a 5-inch polisher on these tighter sections without needing to use a 3-inch, a 1-inch, or trying to switch up your polishing system. So this side, it doesn't need to be taped off because there's no trim or rubber or plastic. Like the glass, you can just wipe down. So here you can actually tackle this with just the polisher. You're gonna tap, 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 tap. And you see how simple that was? We're gonna wipe it down. And I'm telling you, it is a dramatic difference. And of course, I'm only taping off this side because that's where the actual trim is at. Everything here is okay. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but there's polish here on the glass. That's fine because you just wipe that away. And if you look at the light right here, a lot more clarity, a lot more gloss. Again, still a bunch of swirls in there, but it is a big difference in the depth of color. This looks like a very good vehicle that's been maintained its entire life. Now, my personal thing, like my personal favorite thing that I think wraps everything together is making sure that the glass is cleaned on the interior and exterior. Now the glass on the interior is really bad, so using a rinseless wash, I'm gonna clean the exterior. And again, like I'm using a very crappy microfiber towel right here, and I can still get this glass looking fantastic. So that's the exterior, and now this is gonna be the interior. And look at that, that is a big difference in clarity in the glass and just the overall look. That's it, like when there's a dirty glass on a vehicle, after we polish it, clean it up, whatever, it's the most like satisfying part of the detail for me is cleaning the glass. And again, like if someone were to come look at this vehicle, this side of the vehicle, they'd think it's like a well-maintained vehicle because glass is clean, paint is shiny. And there we have it, folks. It is looking fantastic. Now keep in mind that I'm only gonna work on this half of the vehicle just because this is like a content vehicle, so other parts of the vehicle are getting different videos. So we'll stop it right there, but it is looking fantastic. And hopefully you learned a thing or two. I can make a much more thorough video of pulling out a lot more of the tools and products to get this thing properly dialed in. But I think for most people with this kind of vehicle and this situation, most people are gonna be happy with it. You can click the link down below for most of the tools and products that I used. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on the next one.